Hello and welcome to the Breaking Free from Self-Sabotage series. It's a little exciting venture Tanner and I are launching. Every once in a while, we're going to come together and delve into some self-sabotage topics and really start releasing some more information and trying to reach more people through our content. And I feel like this is something that we're going to start doing, and we're both really passionate about self-sabotage and how we can help the world heal and learn and love and grow. And I'm really looking forward to today. Tanner's got some awesome content. His walk and talks are awesome. He's got some good guests. So I encourage you all to go and look up Power Up Self-Sabotage Solutions. So today we're going to discuss some sabotaging habits that our youth are currently going through. So without any further ado, Tanner, would you like to just introduce yourself for those that are a little bit new to our work? And then I'll introduce myself after that.
Awesome. Yeah. So my name is Tanner Dagenais. I am a freedom from self-sabotage coach. I have a holistic lifestyle practitioner certification with the Czech Institute. Um, Really, what my main goal is to help other people overcome self-sabotage. I have experienced a lot of my own personal self-sabotage, and I like to interview other people, help them share their self-sabotage stories, and really just share everything I know about overcoming self-sabotage. Because for me, I always thought there was something wrong with me. I always thought that I was broken somehow because I knew what I wanted to do, but I kept sabotaging that. My best actions towards that life. So once I learned this information, I was like, everyone needs to know it. That's what my greatest pleasure is, to share this information with other people. And I'm extremely grateful to have found and connected with Nathan, because we both vibe very well together. And I just love Nathan's authentic personality and just like his content as well. So it's always a pleasure speaking with you, Nathan. So thanks for having me on again.
No
I'm excited
worries.
to be collaborating on this joint podcast venture we have
Yeah.
going on now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you do this work on yourself, and you really do bring in the old, and I mean bring in the new to let go of the old. And I just emailed Jason one day and just asked him and just said, "Oh, are there any younger crew in here?" And he just said Tanner. And I was like, I looked on the Facebook group we have and found you, and it was pretty cool. And you did that post, and you were looking for sabotage coaches to interview, so I was like, let's do it. So yeah, it's been awesome, mate. It's been awesome. You've had my brother on too, and yeah, it's been a really, really awesome journey with you, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. So anyway, for those that don't know, I'm Nathan Francis. Just like Tanner, I was a self-sabotage. Well, I was the king of it for a while. I had different forms of self-sabotage. I self-sabotaged my relationships with people and women, and I was a porn addict as well. I watched porn probably 4 or 5 times a week, or more. And yeah, that was something that in the last few months I've broken free from, and I'm very proud of myself for that. And I also escaped my life through alcohol and casual sex, and yeah, so yeah, to come out the other side of that and help people the way I've been able to help myself, I'm truly grateful for, and that's how I'm of service to humanity and our youth of today. So yeah, there's all these topics here, and we'll just pick a couple. And Tanner, would you like to start us off on one of the many topics that we can cover on this issue currently going on in society right now?
Yeah, definitely. I think let's touch on porn first, because
Yeah.
I think you and me both relate to this, and most men, I feel like, kind of got caught on that trap, right?
Mm.
Youth, even older adults, like males who are like in their 40s, 50s, 60s, if they have like a good relationship with their wife or their spouse, or stuck in that porn trap is really what it is, right?
Mm.
It gets usually darker, more perverse, more perverse as you're watching porn and getting into it, right? Like the stuff they're coming out with now is just like most like horrific stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and what I found for me personally with porn, I was addicted like you, and I would find myself always going to it. I was like pretty much, it was like a dopamine fix as a way to
Yeah.
relax. And I would find myself always doing it, even if I um was with a woman, like, previously or anything like that, I'd still go back to it. And I ended up giving it up when I had told my wife about me doing it. And she was really hurt by it because she didn't think that I had been doing it. But unfortunately, I think most women are don't. Maybe some women know it happens, but I think a lot of like wives and things like that, spouses, don't really realize the extent that males are, you know, being drawn into the porn. Um, and I know that was a big area of self sabotage for me because when I started to give up the porn, it did take me a little while, and it was difficult. I think it was helpful that I had someone there to do it, to be able to like wean myself off of that and, connect with instead. But I noticed my connection with my wife increased a lot, like that. The porn was making it so I wasn't able to connect with my wife to the
Mm.
true way I was really trying to connect with her, right? It was like dissociating myself, and it was really draining me myself of my sexual energy and just my normal all around energy. And when I started to stop that, I noticed a big difference in my life. I'm sure, I think, you recently stopped. So how have you noticed any effects on that?
Yeah, I have. I've actually got more mental clarity, because what you're watching there is it literally fries your brain, doesn't it? Like it gives you a perception of reality and a perception of sex that is not the real, true human connection that
Yeah.
we're all here to have as male and female, or male, female, whatever it is. That the programming inside of porn is programming you to treat a woman not the way she should be treated. There's all this stuff in there, choking and gagging and all this stuff. It's like, that's not how you treat a woman. So if you look at the figures and the stats, like rape and violence against women has gone up because of porn. If porn wasn't here, this wouldn't exist. I don't reckon it would.
No, I think you're very right. And like I think like it prevents people from being able to actually truly connect with each other
And
when
themselves.
they're high watchers of porn. Yeah, and themselves, right? Like
Yeah.
when it makes things more like awkward and social because like if you have that programming of porn in your mind, whenever you see a woman, you're already thinking about those things.
Yeah.
As soon
So
as you see them, right?
yeah. So as
Like,
soon as you see a woman,
yeah,
old me would see her as an object. So I'll be thinking sexually already. It's like, no, there's a person there. There's a soul in there. But the old version of myself would see that woman as an object rather than the person inside or the person that she is. Because I'd be thinking sexually straight away. Now
definitely.
I view women totally different. I view them as a person. I view them as a beautiful person, as the divine feminine as well. It's like the perception of women has changed for me since I've stopped watching sexual content.
Yep. I love that. Yeah, I feel like the same thing for me. Like I've gotten a better just output look on the world and
Yep.
outlook on myself as well because I I feel like no, even if you feel like you're comfortable with porn on some level, it's you feel bad about it.
Mm.
You feel like you're just like a dirty individual. But I think a lot of the reason why like people are drawn to porn, right, is look at all the programming in TV and movies and shows,
Yeah.
right? Like if you look back in the day, there wasn't nearly as much sexual content on TVs, right? And it's gotten increased more. Like I saw
Oh
this
yeah.
study showing that you know like young teens who had been exposed to like sexual content, like not even like sex, just like in Friends, like there's one scene where Monica is like sick and she's trying to get Chandler to have sex with him, and it doesn't even show like any like nudity or anything like that. Just kind of like she's like rubbing her chest and stuff. And
Mm.
like that scene alone was played usually around like 4 o'clock when the kids got home from school, and all the young boys were watching that, and that started getting their minds programmed like that. And you mean both know like how the mind works, right?
Mm.
The more times you're exposed to something, the more you're going to be drawn to it. And I don't think this is by coincidence that this is happening, that this sexual content is putting out there. They're trying to make it like they're trying to really destroy the family structure. They're trying to destroy um, just our true connection with ourselves and with like the true feminine um, energy that we really should be connecting. And most people are not able to get that full connection, that like honeymoon effect. And so it's creating that divide between male and feminine, and it's creating a rift that is going to be easier to take down. The parental structure and I guess the I don't know, I guess the force that really should be there to protect children and to protect the world. When we have weakened males who are just focused only on sex, it becomes much easier to take them down and to really to start invading and start poisoning the population and doing all these things.
And that's
I
why it's
think
there,
that's
though.
exactly.
That's
Yeah,
why it's put
exactly.
there. It's put there so the male never awakens their inner lion to when evil comes at their door. They're busy flapping it off the porn. Government, whatever, can come in, see you later. And the bloke's just there. Like, it's just weakening males. Like this attack on males that we talk about. It's so real, isn't it?
Yep. Because I mean, the first step in defense in the family structure or even in the world is going to be a male, a strong alpha male. That's why we have the toxic masculinity. We have all that. They really don't want strong males, and
yeah,
one of the main ways they're doing that is by inducing us all to want to go to porn.
yeah.
And
To be
making it seem like it's so
entertained.
super normal. Yep, entertained. Yep.
It's like, yeah, we actually speak about it. It's like they're trying to, like, we all want to be. It's like we're in an entertainment society. People want their entertainment. They don't want to have long-term goals and to have that long-term gratification. We're looking for that instant gratification from the TV, from the porn, from the alcohol, from the smoking, the vaping, whatever it is. I want it instantly. I want to feel what I need to feel now. It's like, that's why a lot of people out there are very impatient with themselves and with others and with where they are in life, because they're looking for an instant gratification, and no one's really learning the discipline or the resilience to start a business but have short-term, long-term goals and something to focus on. And then you'll get that gratification later, not instantly through a screen where a beautiful woman is getting, well, yeah. And to be honest, the truth about porn is a lot of those women have been trafficked. Pornhub is like the leading human trafficking network in the world. It's not hard to find this information. It's readily available. So for those that want a conscious way to wean off porn, just think next time you're going to go and do it, that woman has most likely been trafficked and has been groomed to be a porn star from a very early age. And I was watching something last night about porn, actually, which is very interesting, so I'm going to bring it up right now. I was watching a video, which we'll put in the show notes down the bottom, that clearly explains what I'm just saying. And also, a lot of porn stars don't last, and not last. They don't live a full life. They die very, very young because of all the trauma and all the stuff that they've gone through. They don't live very long lives. It's quite sad. So if you want a conscious way, that's a good start. They're trafficked.
Wow, that's a great point, and I feel like not many people think about that. I never realized how much of them were actually trafficked and like abused and things like that.
Yeah, but then they're getting abused on the screen too. Like this is why people are doing the things that they're doing to women, because they're seeing it and it's being normalized through porn, like choking and gagging and all this rough stuff has been normalized through porn. So the men are programmed to be like, well, this is how sex is. This is not how sex is, guys. Come on, wake up. Sex is a divine connection between the masculine and the feminine coming together to make love.
Yeah, that rough
Simple as
stuff
that.
is not connection for sure. Like
Nah.
it's
But
it's
it's not
gross.
just the penetration. From what I've learned and from what I've overcome is sex is it's not just penetration, it's touch, it's flirting, it's the masculine saying, okay, we're going out for dinner tonight. We're going at 6 o'clock. I'll see you there. It's the masculine taking ownership in the relationship, not like, the female can make decisions too, but the male goes, right, I'll see you at 6 o'clock. Put your best clothes on. We're going to a restaurant. It's touch. It's like communication. It's honesty. It's being together to heal and love together, and you come together to make love. That's what it is.
Yeah, and actually, I know you and me were talking about it. My last podcast where I interviewed Robin,
Yeah,
he was talking about every time you give yourself to another person, whether sexually or something like that, you really are giving a part of yourself away.
you are.
And you part of yourself is out in that person at that point.
I
And if
think of
you're
it.
doing
Yeah,
it, yeah,
I
and if you're
think
doing
of
it
it
with someone
as I
else,
think of it as males. We are the USB stick, and we're plugging into a computer, so we're downloading their stuff as well as our stuff. And it's just, and as Robin said, I listened to it the other day, it's just taking back your power, taking back, and, because as
recalling it.
males, we're giving away some of ourselves to them. So we need to take that back to allow them. Well, it actually works both ways, doesn't it? We're releasing our stuff from them, aren't we? And calling it back and then releasing it from ourselves.
Yep. I completely agree with that. And I want to touch point on like the short term kind of instant gratification we were
Yeah.
talking about, right? I think that's so common with self sabotage, right? If we're acting from our subconscious minds, which most of us are, like 90 to 95% of the time, that's the part of the mind that's known for short term thinking, that's known for instant gratification, right? It's the people pleasing part of our mind, the mind part of our mind that just wants to fit in. And really, in this society, the way they've designed it, like I know when I was a little kid, like walking through the mall, I saw Victoria's Secret, and I would always be like, "Whoa!" Like,
Yeah.
like, and I think that was part of the programming, right?
Yeah.
There's woman in lingerie, and I'd be like,
Beautiful
"Oh,
women, though.
yep, exactly." Women who really have been, you know, usually a lot of these women too. I think it's good to point out, like, they don't treat themselves with love. Not maybe not intentionally, but they are starving themselves
Yeah.
through binge eating, through those sorts of things, or sorry, through being like anorexic or things like that. And so it's not like a normal healthy body, and not to like degrade these women or anything like that, but like it's just the mind control that our society is under.
But it's gone
Right?
the
It's
other way
just
too, though.
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
they're
I
putting
mean,
out
yeah,
their bigger women now as well, and normalizing being bigger is
that's
being
true.
healthy. So they're doing
Yep.
it in the opposite direction too, and
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, planet mind
They're
control,
always
eh?
trying to go for one. Yeah, they're always trying to go down one route, right?
Yep.
And that's really what it is. That's what self sabotage is about, right? Understanding how we're being influenced through our subconscious mind, through what people refer to as mind control. All it really is convincing the subconscious mind through repetition, through images, through auditory things, through feelings, through visualization, um, that this is the best way to act to fit in with society. And so many of us have been programmed to go after porn because we've seen these things in our environment. We've seen these things through the television. We've seen these things on social media nowadays. Like one of the things we're going to be talking about today is social media and TikTok and things like that. I know when I first got on TikTok, all that was coming up for me until I changed the algorithm for myself was just woman, like woman, and it kept going worse and worse. And I kept trying to pull up like worse and worse like sexual content. Um, and so I had to literally like intentionally change the algorithm so it would stop doing that. I had to start searching for other things and like swipe away the videos that were like trying to infiltrate me, and like the videos that I wanted into my algorithm. And I was able to change it eventually, but that was what was coming into my feed automatically before I even liked anything. As soon as I logged on to TikTok, that's I got blasted with
Wow.
these things. And there's been talks about like why TikToks is very dangerous. I mean, what, like every 30 seconds you get that instant satisfaction, you get that dopamine fix. But you keep swiping, you get thousands of different videos, thousands of different people, under 3 minutes. You don't have to think long term. You get to see something and move on and keep seeing something else, right?
Mm.
Um, like I'm not sure if you've gone into TikTok much yourself, but it can be like a rabbit hole of like you just getting sucked into it for like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, very easily. And I think like we were talking about just before you got on, like that guy who was like walking home this morning just stuck onto his phone, right?
Yeah.
He didn't even notice you when you're opening your car and you almost hit him with your car door.
Oh, did you?
Like that's what like so many people are under that mind control right now of just like being sucked in on their phones. Like you walk into like a room and like most public places and you'll see like half or more of the people just on their phones, not even looking at anything, right? Like not even
Yeah.
talking to anyone. They're sitting right next to someone, they're not talking to anyone. It's just they're on their phones.
Yeah. But yeah, right. Most of the time, not really doing anything on there. They're just scrolling.
Programming themselves is really what it is.
Yeah, spot on. And our
And they don't
subconscious
realize.
mind can't tell the difference between positive, negative, irrational, or rational. So whatever you're
Nope.
filling it with, you're going to live out. And it's just becoming consciously aware of that. Like how much time are you spending on your phone? People say they don't have the time for this, they don't have the time for that. It's like, well, how much time are you spending on your phone? Okay, if you're spending 6 to 7 hours a day on your phone, so if you just limit that to say 3 hours a day, then you have 3 hours to go and read a book, to listen to a podcast, to start a business, to research stuff about how to become a healthier, stronger version of yourself. I would recommend reading Paul Chek's book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. That's a big, good place to start. It's like, okay, so you can limit that to 2 hours. So then you have 4 hours. You have 4 hours. How could you spend that 4 hours to build your best life and become a healthier version of yourself? You might start investing in yourself. So you might reach out to people like us. You might reach out to, some person that can help you become better.
Spot on. And I saw your post talking about how the self-saboteur has all the money to invest in their things that are holding them bound, like the
Yeah.
alcohol, the drugs, social
Vaping.
media, video games, movies, all those things.
Yep.
But they had no money to invest in themselves, into health,
Yep.
into programs, into getting self-help, into getting home exercise equipment, getting a gym membership, things like that. No, they don't put money into that.
Same
and it's
thing,
so true. You have money and resources for what you make time for, or what you make resource. What, like money, energy, time. Those things are all very valuable resources, and mental capacity. These things are all very valuable resources. So if you're using these things to actively build your worst life, you're not gonna get a better life, because you're literally losing everything in your power to bring you towards that life. And that's something I had to realize.
Same here.
And I think we were talking about that video I did where I was talking about like how I was just distracting myself hardcore with marijuana, where I was literally avoiding my pain, right, every single day, right? And I think this is pretty common with society. It doesn't matter if you use marijuana, if you use alcohol, you use cocaine, you use video games, you use a mix of all those things. You use tobacco, you use the nicotine sticks, whatever it is, hookahs, whatever it is, you're distracting yourself with. And the reason why you're distracting yourself is you're distracting yourself from the pain, from your shitty life. And an analogy I like to use is when you like first go to a farm and you smell that shit smell, and you're just like, what is that smell? Right. And then after a while, when you're sitting in that shit smell for so long, you just don't smell it anymore. That's what it's like when you're sedating yourself and poisoning yourself. You get to a point where you don't realize you're sitting in that shit. You realize I'm sitting in the middle of a whole field of shit right now that I've created for myself, and I'm so high, I'm so drunk, I'm so distracted that I don't even realize I'm in the middle of it. And that's where I was. I mean, at some point I knew, but I was distracting myself so much that I was fine with it because for me, marijuana, I was pretty much high 24/7, right? Like I'd wake up, I would smoke a bowl or take a dab. And if people don't know what dabs is really just like concentrated THC, like little like wax that you put into like a hot thing and you smoke it. Um, I'd wake up, I'd smoke that, and I would literally just be like high, super high, like starting my day like the wake and bake. And I would be high all day. And I'd probably play some video games. I would distract myself through social media. I'd binge watch TV. I'd go work. I'd come back. I'd be probably high during work. I'd probably smoke during work as well, with a
Wow.
vape stick or something like that. Come back, smoke some more. Tell myself, oh, that was a hard day. I'm gonna need a, get myself a whiskey and coke. So I'd get myself twisted, and I would do that every single day. I
Mm,
would get high and drunk, and I probably didn't drink as much, but when I mixed with the alcohol, it definitely got me like not even thinking about what was going on in my life. And the problem is, I started to get comfortable with where I was, but I shouldn't have been comfortable with where I was because I was in immense emotional pain. I was literally like, I was in credit card debt. I was frustrated with where I was in life. I didn't have a job I could be proud of. I didn't have something that I literally felt good about doing. I was just working, to make money. I wasn't doing something that brought enjoyment to myself. I was just playing video games, distracting myself. And while I was good at video games, I wasn't actually making progress in my life.
mm,
Um, and so once I started to cut back on the alcohol and the marijuana, I started to realize that, holy shit, like I'm in a bad spot right now. Um, I need to make the moves, right? And that's what pain is there for. Like
yeah.
if you put your hand on a hot stove, you're gonna pull your hand off because it's hot. But if you're really drunk and high, you may not realize that stove is that hot and you'll burn yourself.
Yeah,
And
because
that's
you've
pretty
not,
much what I
yeah.
was doing. I was just sitting there burning myself for years
Mm.
until I realized. And then um, I was able to get myself out of that point by removing those distractions.
Once you realize it, Tanner, how did you go through a process where you forgave yourself for abusing yourself in such a way? And how
I
powerful was that for
did.
you?
I did have to forgive myself, and I did find periods where I went back to marijuana smoking.
Mm,
And I'd stop smoking. I'd get super successful. I'd start like moving towards the life that I want, and then I'd convince myself, and this is the way the subconscious mind works, right? And, I'm sure you probably experienced somewhat of the same thing with other things, maybe not marijuana, but I would go back to it, and I'd be like, yeah, I can do it now. Like I'm in a much better spot. I'm making moves towards my life. I'd start smoking again, and I start to get comfortable with where I was again,
yes.
and I start to stagnate, and I
Mm,
just start not doing the things anymore that would bring me forward in life because I was like, yeah, I'm high, I'll do that later. Yeah, I'm high, I'll do that tomorrow. And then I just kept saying that. And I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I'm not going to smoke tomorrow when I was high. And then when I was sober, I was like, I'm going to smoke. And then I would smoke again. And then I would be like, oh, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm high again. And I found myself getting caught back in that loop. And I had to stop myself. I'm like, holy shit, I'm stuck. I just went right back into my old habits. And that's really what when I talk about like subconscious programs and you talk about like programs, all these programs are just habits, right?
mm,
These habits are um really things that we've learned to do repetitively, and our subconscious mind is like it has an auto program for it to do. So like when we wake up, we have that thought that switches on, hey, maybe I should get high, or hey, maybe I should go and grab myself a drink, or hey, maybe I should go look at social media. Like I know I have that urge sometimes to go watch social media nowadays. I have given up marijuana at this point, but that thought still comes up, and I do address it. I do think about how is this going to bring me towards the life I want, and I think sometimes going back to that point of like trying it again, um, it will happen sometimes, right?
yeah.
It's important not to attack yourself and beat yourself. I'm like, oh man, you're stupid. Why did you do that? Like, blah blah blah. But to be forgiving of yourself and realize, hey, this is the way my mind works. This is the way my mind it's drawn towards the familiar. Really like the way I like to think about it is like nature always goes down the path of least resistance, right? And the path of least resistance for me was smoking marijuana because I had done it for every single day for like 10 plus years. Like I was literally like high every single day. Like I don't remember a day I wasn't high for a while. Um, and that was my path of least resistance. So that's why I kept being drawn to go back to that point. But I had to create a new path of least resistance, and doing that was by changing the things I'm exposed to, changing my thoughts, changing, the things I'm thinking about. So that was what I felt like I was addicted to, and the reason why I went back to those things. I know for you, it was porn, right?
Mm-hmm. So my path of least resistance was, well, you know how you wanted to feel high all the time. Well, I was horny all the time because I was sexualized. Because I was watching sexual content, like the movies I would watch had sex in it, TV shows I watch have sex in it. So of course I was going to be drawn to porn.
Yep.
And the internet has made that a very easy over the years too. Like back in the day, people just had magazines and different things, but the internet's come in, and that's literally allowed children very, very young to be sexualized. And I was one of those children that was sexualized from a very early age. I started watching porn when I was 10 years old. I remember it. I remember that very first one. It was just a pop up on a cartoon I was watching. I was like, oh, what's this? This is a beautiful lady. What are those things there? Bang. I was hooked, line, sinking, and it's taken me 20 years to break the program, mate. Well, not quite 20 years, but almost 20 years. And to break that, and my path of least resistance was I was just a horny boy, mate. I was a horny boy in a man's body. Shit, I don't know where that came from, but it's
And how did
obviously,
you address it?
yeah. How do I address it? Well, I asked for help. And I was guided to this beautiful person called Jane, who I spoke to in my last podcast. And she helped me realize why I was watching porn. I was scared. I was horny. I was fearful of being my best self. I was fearful of being the person that I always wanted to be, but I was scared of being that person. I hadn't forgiven myself for the things that I'd done. Like forgiveness is so, so powerful when you do it, like when you really feel it. My lesson this week has been forgiveness of myself and others. I can talk about that in another podcast, but back onto the porn stuff. I was just a horny, scared boy, Tanner, for a very, very long time. And it took me till the last few months to actually really go deep within and really nut out why that is. And I really thank Jane for helping me do that. Her work's awesome. JaneWrote.com for those out there. She really helped me. She opened the door for me to go deep within as to why I was doing porn and why I was watching it. And yeah, and as you said, I was just stuck in that cycle of well, you know how you said that you're paying through marijuana and stuff. Well, I'd come home after a hard day and I'd just chuck some porn on and do my thing and go to sleep and wake up, and the first thing I think about, porn again. And then as I got older, this is something I haven't spoken about yet, but I feel like it's ready. So as I got older, it was then women. So it's like, who can I be with? Well, not really be with. Who can I sleep with that's gonna fill that need of the horny little boy, right?
Yep.
So that started me down the casual sex path. It was like I saw women as objects. They were just like they didn't mean anything to me for such a very long time because of porn. That was the root cause. And I sabotaged some really awesome relationships that I had with women throughout my early 20s to mid 20s. I've since gone back and apologized to most of them now for the boy that I was scared and scarred from love from a previous relationship as well. So that was also tied into the porn as well. But when I was in that relationship, I was still watching porn. And
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that was my path of least resistance. I was just that horny, scared little boy. And it took me a long time to get to that place where I can look at that horny, scared little boy and just show it some love and say, hey, there's a healthier version of yourself waiting on the other side. Take that step. And yeah, and it's been a hard process. I found myself, I actually went back to it yesterday. I found myself searching and I was like, hang on a minute, why am I doing this? And I stopped myself and I went, no, this isn't building my best life. That's not a habit that's building my best life. So I chucked on some yoga with Adrian for those out there that have YouTube. Yoga with Adrian's awesome. I did some yoga for half an hour. Oh, and I released that need and that want for porn. just by replacing it with a habit that's building my best life, not my worst life, and
I love
connecting
it.
with myself again. So I did her yoga, connecting with yourself. Interesting that I found that so I connected myself, and I went, okay, well, I went to and did that because those feelings of being scared and stuff were coming up again. So that's what I was programmed to do when I was scared, when I was fearful. I just go and chuck some porn on to feel comfortable and safe. I don't need that anymore. I can do this myself through yoga, meditation, sitting with myself, exercising, doing those healthier habits that aren't negatively influencing my worst life, if that makes sense. I think it does.
Yeah, that makes perfect
It's
sense.
just
Yeah, I love that.
replacing those bad habits with good habits. And for those out there that are stuck and struggling, just pick one area of your life that you want to combat now. We all know, well, we all have one. Pick one and go, right, how can I replace alcohol? What can I replace alcohol with? More water, kombucha, apple cider vinegar, whatever it is. Okay, right, bang. But then go and deep and ask yourself, why was I drawn to alcohol? Was I scared? Was I worried? Was I in pain? Was I stuck? Was I looking towards the alcohol for something that I can't get from myself? So just connect with yourself and breathe. That's what it starts with. Like what Robin said, connect with yourself and just breathe. In through your nose, out through your mouth, relax, calm your nervous system, and you'll get the answer as to why you're feeling the urgency to watch porn, to have the drink, to have the coffee, to have whatever it is. There's something there, and it's a feeling, and it's an emotion that is ready to come out. And the best thing you can do for yourself is letting that emotion come out. If that's through crying, through just being a bit angry, whatever it is, let it out, because it will start the journey for you, because it started mine.
I love that. Yeah, you're spot on again, Nathan. Like
Hmm.
that emotion, like you gotta feel that emotion, right?
The
And we
pain
both
teacher.
know why, right? Like the emotion deeply affects your subconscious mind and it can make those changes. Um, and also I think from reading Bruce Lipton's book, you started reading The Honeymoon Effect, right?
Yep.
Talk about quantum physics, how everything is made up of energy. Um, really what emotion is, when we're feeling that emotion, we're changing our frequency, we're starting to feel a certain vibration, and we're starting to vibrate at a certain frequency
Yeah.
when we're feeling those emotions. And that's powerful, because if you understand that we're all made up of energy, we're all made up of the same exact stuff, it doesn't matter what it is in this world, it's all made up of energy, because everything that makes up atoms, then underneath that everything is made up of the quantum particles, which is just energy vortexes. Everything's made up of energy.
Mm.
And it all ties into how our biology works as well, because they found out that our biology actually speaks to itself through energy. So, through the energy in our environment, through um, the thoughts and things that we tell ourselves, we can actually change our whole body's structure, like our cells operation systems. Like we can decide to start healing ourselves. Like have you ever heard of the placebo effect? I know you probably have. The placebo effect is where you believe something is going to happen and it does. You
Mm-hmm.
believe like, oh, someone got like a sugar pill and they thought it was like a cure all for this cancer or whatever, and they took it and they were able to miraculously heal. For the longest time, scientists just ignored the fact. They said, oh, that's a fluke, that's just something that doesn't happen. But it's total BS that they didn't actually take that seriously, right? And now, and probably the big reason they didn't take that seriously is just because, well, we both know why. You can't make money off of people healing themselves through their mind.
No.
You can't control people through people having the power to be able to change their lives in an instant with the things that they're changing by just using their minds, changing the way that they're thinking. And that's why this information is so powerful that me and Nathan are talking about, is that you start to change the way you're thinking. And that's really, I think, what you and me were both talking about when we were like talking about breaking away from, smoking marijuana or from porn, is to actually like, wait a minute, consciously start thinking about is this bringing me towards my best life or my worst life? You know, being intentional with like, is this going to take me towards that life or farther away from it? And then understanding why and like starting to think about it, and feel those emotions, allow yourself to feel the things and to really address what lies underneath and start to change your vibrations as you start to, let those things go. Because really all it is like a bottle full of energy that we just keep shoving full of like repressed emotions and things like
Yeah,
that. And at some point you got to let the cork go and let all those emotions out.
that's it.
Like I know you and me both had those periods where we just like start crying randomly, right?
Yeah.
That's our bottle ready to explode.
Did a bit of crying this week, Tanner.
Yeah,
I was
awesome.
forgiving. I was forgiving some. I did a lot of forgiveness this week. I'm going to talk about that probably in the next couple of days on a post. But just in terms of what you were saying too, there's another deeper reason as to why I was watching porn. It just came to me then. I wasn't worthy of love, and that was love for myself. I did say that I did hate the way that I was for such a long time, and I felt that I wasn't worthy of love because I put this subconscious wall up from love after some stuff happened in my life that scarred me from it, which I've spoken about in my book. And yeah, and once I broke that wall and really, well, the wall was just tears too, so I really cried it out. But yeah, it's interesting because when you talk about vibration, and if you're at our essence and at our true core, we are love. We are love beings, like we are pure love. So if we're vibrating in pure love, we can attract the things that we want through manifestation. I'm currently single right now. I'm currently going through the stages of that, what you're saying. And once I'm almost there now. Once I'm in that loving vibration state, that's the highest frequency that we can be in. And if we express love and gratitude each and every day and really feel that, then we are pure love. And it's removing the fear. It's removing the programs that had disempowered us, that had disconnected us from ourselves to be pure love. If we're pure love, we forgive those who wronged us. We forgive ourselves for allowing it to happen. Because all we're doing is we're shifting those negative thoughts, those negative emotions into positive love. Because at our true core, we're just love. And if we're in our heart space and in our heart center and we listen to our heart, like our heart's always telling us something and it's always guiding us somewhere. We just listen in. Take that deep breath in. Listen to your heart. What's your heart telling you? Is your heart telling you to stop? My heart was telling me to stop for such a long time and I didn't listen. And as soon as I listened, and I've said it before, my life changed in an instant. And now, looking back on why I was going back to porn, there was just some other stuff there that I needed to shed. And it was, I am worthy of love. I'm worthy of living a long, prosperous life, helping millions of people. Building a bush school, doing all of those things. That's my dream. And once I see it and once I have the goals and I got the baby steps, I don't need that in my life anymore to fill the need that I can't fill for myself. And filling the need was just, at its core, was my self-worth, my self-love. And if I'm not feeling worthy and I'm not feeling love, then yeah, I will resort to those old habits. But I'm consciously aware that if I'm in that state, I know how to get out of it. I just deep breathe, connect with myself, and just relax and get back in my heart space.
Powerful.
Mm.
Yeah. I feel like taking that time to like breathe and think it through, like
Just slow down.
because yeah, those instant thoughts that you react on, like the cravings, the urges,
Yeah.
the automatic negative thoughts that come through, or like the thought that says, "Hey, go do porn. Hey, boobs.
Yep.
Hey, all this
Yeah.
stuff." You're like, wait, that's not me consciously thinking of that. Where did that
That's
come from?
subconscious. Yeah.
That's your subconscious saying, "Hey, I'm a little record player, and I'm coming around. Oh, porn. Oh yeah, porn again. Oh yeah, marijuana. Right? Like
Yeah.
it's like, hey, it's time. It's about that time on the record to play it again and give you
Interesting.
that thought.
Yeah.
Because that's really all the subconscious mind is. It's just like a record player, right?
Yeah.
It's a recording of the things that we've seen the most, a recording of the things um
Interesting.
that we felt often, or the beliefs that we have within ourselves that we've learned from most of the time. And I think a lot of people, I think I want to address this part because a lot of people think like, oh, this is my belief. This is like who I am at this point, right? It's like their identity. But if once you start to understand the way the subconscious mind works, you start to realize that a lot of these beliefs, a lot of these things that we think is actually us is not who we are. It's something we've learned from other people. Because when we're born as children, when we're born as babies, we don't have any of these beliefs. We were born in the world authentically who we are.
Yeah,
And then,
we're born as pure love.
yeah, exactly. We're born as pure love. We know we deserve love.
Yep.
Like if you put a baby in a room by itself, it will start crying and crying and crying until it gets the attention and love it wants.
That's it.
Right. Because if you don't feed a baby for a while, it start crying, crying, crying until it gets what it wants. Because babies know they deserve these things. They know they deserve the love. They know they deserve the things. Right. But when you start to grow up, you start to hear, oh, you don't need that. Oh, you're not good enough for this. Or we hear some kind of statement that we start to apply to ourselves, that really that we wasn't ours. We were given to it from like our parents, from society, from teachers, from a friend, from a TV show or something like that.
Sports
And
coaches.
exactly, when we at the end of the day, once we start to realize what those things are, and if we can identify them, I know Marissa Peer talks about this. She's like, think about it as like a gift someone gave to you, and you're returning it back to them and saying, nope, I'm good. Here we go, and
Mm,
letting go,
that's
feeling
powerful.
that emotion, feeling that release of it being gone at that point.
That's
When
powerful.
we talk about emotion, right? Letting that feeling go, letting that emotion go, and you're just done with it.
Yep. A lot of people have their emotions coming up at the moment. It's very easy to see just through my observations and walking through life. A lot of people are broken inside. Like those emotions are there. Like their heart is talking to them. Just listen to your heart. Just listen in. Tune in, listen in, and yeah, that's the best piece of advice I can give you.
Raise your frequency, raise your
That's it.
vibration, right?
That's it.
And because have you guys ever, I don't know if you guys ever seen the video where they have like a bunch of sand and they use sound frequencies to like around the sand, and the sand starts to change its form and its shape.
I've
And
seen a lot
based
of
on the
different
different,
videos like that.
yeah, it's based on the frequency, it starts to get
Mm,
usually the higher the frequency, which is what's frequency? Frequency is just energy. The
yeah.
higher the energy vibrations, the more sophisticated the sand patterns become. And that's really what we do. And like there's another experiment with this with water,
Yeah, that's what I was going to
and
mention
like
before.
telling water like I love you
Yep.
or I hate you or different things like that. Actually, in the water in my I have some jars of distilled water downstairs, and I write little sticky notes on them. I write love, I write like different positive words like gratitude, things like that. And every time I go to pour the water or I look at the water, I think of those words and I send that vibration into the water, because water can actually carry that energy, that frequency, in it. So it can be very powerful. And when you think about that, like it's been proven that right, it can stay in the water.
Let's just do it right
Humans are
now.
made up, yeah, humans are made up of 70% water.
Love.
So when you
Love.
tell yourself, exactly, when you tell yourself these bad things, or when you tell yourself good things,
Mm,
you're literally changing the frequency inside your own body.
yeah, you are.
And if you're repressing those emotions and those emotions are staying within you unaddressed,
Mm.
those things can bring down your frequency,
I heard a
and you
really
start
good
to feel
strategy.
depressed. Let's go for it.
I heard a really good strategy for that.
Yeah.
Just lay in bed of a night. A really awesome guy mentioned this on a podcast I'm releasing during the week, but I'm going to mention it now because it's really relevant. He said, just lay in bed of a night, take 5 deep breaths in and 5 deep breaths out. So you do that cycle 5 times. And then just say, I choose to let go of anger, fear, resentment, judgment, all those negative feelings. There's heaps of them. Bitterness, frustration, disappointment, all those feelings. And then go, I choose to welcome in. I choose to welcome in feelings of love, abundance, happiness, joy, harmony, peace, freedom, love. And then feel that inside and feel that shift.
I love it.
Yeah, it was so beautiful
powerful
when he said that. I was like, oh, I need to share that to people
because
because I've since heard that advice when we recorded it, and I've gone away and done that, and it's actually bought stuff physically for me to go and do, and yeah, it's just been a really powerful exercise. I choose to let go of. I choose to welcome in.
Yeah, I love
and
it.
If you want to take it one step further, look at yourself in the mirror and look at yourself in the eye, looking at your soul, saying, "I choose to let go of. I choose to welcome in," and that is another layer of power right there.
Oh yeah,
because you're saying it to yourself at a soul level.
Yeah, I remember talking to your brother Jordy about how much it changed his life.
Yeah.
And then I was telling my wife about it, and she started doing more mirror affirmations.
Oh, I love it.
And she's been feeling a major effect from it too. So like, highly recommend doing the mirror work. And I know I've done it myself, and it's been powerful. You know, it's you almost feel kind of weird at first when you do it, right? Because you're looking yourself in the mirror and saying, "I love you."
Yeah.
And like, if you feel that uncomfortableness, like that's okay, because that's your subconscious mind saying, "Whoa, like what are you doing here? That's not normal." Just keep going with it, and you'll start to feel that feels good. And actually, I heard a technique. Whenever you're saying an affirmation or you say something positive to yourself, and you feel like a weird feeling in your stomach or a weird feeling in your body, what I like to do is just imagine that feeling. Like I pull it out of myself and imagine, what does that feeling look like? What does that feeling feel like? And I give it a form, and then I compress it down into a little ball, and I deal with it by either lighting it on fire, by putting underneath, like imagine myself like putting it underneath like a shower and watching it melt away and go down a drain and disappear forever. Imagine myself throwing it. I imagine myself like running it over with like a lawnmower, whatever feels good for you, right? Taking off a backpack and letting off that weight, whatever feeling it is, but addressing that feeling that you got when you said that positive emotion, right? If you feel like you were a liar at that point, address that feeling right then and there. Then say it to yourself again. And what I've been noticing when I've been doing that, after I say it to myself again, I don't feel that feeling anymore.
That's awesome. That's an awesome strategy. We just shared some rippers there, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
I love that one.
I love that one, laying down and like feeling that motion, taking the deep breaths.
Yeah.
And when I think about it, I'm like, well, what are you doing when you're laying down and you're taking those deep breaths, right?
Yeah.
You're relaxing your body and you're putting yourself into like a hypnosis like state.
You are. Do it every night.
Then you set those intentions and you're reprogramming yourself. You're doing self-hypnosis essentially is what it is.
You are, yeah. Yeah. And if it comes up during the day, if I'm driving or if I'm out walking or running or whatever, or whatever I'm doing throughout the day, I just pause and just close my eyes and say, I choose to let go of whatever just happened or whatever triggered me or whatever it was. I choose to let go. I choose to welcome in and go about my day.
Hopefully you're not closing your eyes while driving.
No, not doing while I'm driving.
But I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about like, and this is a pretty common phenomenon, I feel like, when people are driving and then all of a sudden they're at the spot they were at and they're like, wait, how did I get here? Right. And it's pretty much the subconscious mind has a program for driving, and it kind of takes over while you're thinking about, because how many people think about, oh, what am I going to do tonight? What am I going to eat tonight? What am I going to do today at work while they're driving? They're not even thinking about what the actual driving, but they're still able to drive to that place. Right. So it's that for anyone who doesn't really understand the way the subconscious mind or how powerful it is, it literally can have super, simple programs or very complex programs like driving. But the program could be a good thing or a bad thing, right? Programs are not necessarily bad things. Like the subconscious mind, it's this, like Jason says, it's the greatest love story ever told, right? The subconscious mind is there trying to do its best to protect you. It just doesn't understand the difference between good and bad, like you mentioned before in the podcast, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't understand these things. So, and I like to think about like this. when we're young, the subconscious mind there is there to protect us. It's our great guardian. It's our big brother. It's there to keep you out of harm's way, to keep you alive. But when you become an adult, the roles get reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Your conscious mind, you need to consciously be the guardian of your subconscious. Because if you're not the guardian, if you don't switch those roles and be the big brother to your subconscious mind, your subconscious mind is going to take in all those bad things, all those bad influences, and you're really going to be powerless to a lot of the things that are happening to you because those programs are going to be affecting you. So when me and Nathan are talking about being more conscious, being aware of what's going on, be aware of what you're listening to, watching to, telling yourself, be aware of what you're watching on social media. That's really what being a guardian of your subconscious mind is. That's really what being the big brother of your subconscious mind is saying like, whoa, 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 I don't want this in my mind. And what you can think of as your mind as a castle, right? There's one entrance in, and you are the gatekeeper of that castle. You can either let in like all like the negative things, which are essentially like rapists, looters, thugs, things like that. What you can think of like a social media, negative words, negative memes, TV shows like Shameless that are bringing you towards your worst life. Um, or you can let in people that are going to make your life better, like intellectuals and lovers and um, just people who are their true authentic self. And you can be watching podcasts and good things like that. So what my point is you need to be your own guardian for your mind, and actively, consciously being aware of what are you putting into your life, spiritually, physically, mentally, all those things really matter. And if you're not consciously being aware of these things, then you're not gonna know what's like. You're gonna be like I was when I was going through life. Like, why is this happening to me? Why can't I make these changes? Is there something wrong with me? There was nothing wrong with me. I was working exactly as designed. It is I wasn't aware of how this part of my mind works, and no one's really taught this information, right? Like we had to seek this information out, and that's why I think it's so powerful that Jason was able to start sharing this information with people. And I think it's important to know, like, Jason's not the only one with this information, right?
No,
This
there's a lot of
information has
people.
been known for years and years and years. Like, I was listening to something from 1952, a recording on a record player, where this guy was literally talking about the same exact information we're talking about with intention and subconscious mind, and like how your thoughts change your world. And he referenced that the ancient philosophers talked about this. So, this information is not new. What he described it as the strangest secret. It's a secret because for some reason no one knows about it. And it's strange because no one knows about it, even though it's been known for thousands of years. And it's it's like mind blowing that this information is not taught to us. And
It's not
I
taught
think
to us
it's a
for a
good
reason,
reason.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd like to hear your reasoning why you think it's not
Well,
taught to us.
well, the last 3 years wouldn't have happened if society wasn't dumbed down the way they're dumbed down right now. And they've been dumbed down for centuries. The stuff that happened in the last 3 years would not have happened if we were all in our power and hadn't had control of our minds. Look at the world today. The world is not a place that we feel that we can leave it behind and say that we've all, we'd leave the place better than we found it. If we all left Earth right now, the place is not any better than how we found it. The people that are ruling us made it easy to steal our money through taxes, theft, to keep us sedated. Like they closed the local fruit and veg stores and kept the alcohol ones open. Like they did that for a reason. They want us being our worst selves so that we're easy to steal from, lie to, manipulate, govern, and slam us into a 15-minute city. Like if people cannot see this yet, it's not fucking rocket science. Honestly, I'm getting passionate now. You've woken me line again. It's not rocket science out there. The truth's there. Like if we're living and in control of our own mind and our own thoughts and our own behaviors, then we're not going to be lied to, manipulated, stolen from. And we're not going to be forced into taking a jab for our job because we have our own source of income. We're not dependent. We're independent. We are a society of dependency. If we're independent, none of this shit happened. Like, this system is this close to crumbling. If every single person out there stopped going to work and stopped feeding it, the whole thing falls over and then we can rebuild a new one. That's how powerful we are. This jab thing, if the whole world said, I ain't taking this shit, I ain't taking it, and just stopped, the whole system of control, this matrix we talk about, ends in an instant. And we can build that new system to create something better. That's how powerful we are. And that's how powerful saying no is. But everyone's stuck. They're stuck with the job. They're stuck paying off a mortgage that they're going to leave to their kids to pay off. Like, look at the world today. It's a fucking shit show. It really is.
Yep.
I know we're sitting here promoting love and light and stuff, but sometimes I look at society and go, what the fuck are we living in? How can I see things you can't see? I don't know where that went, but I just felt like I need to say that.
No, that's true. I mean, and I love that passion. I love that. Sometimes I have those same feelings as well. Right?
Sometimes I do.
And I think it's like people talk about like how only being positive isn't something that is negative or toxic. And I don't agree. I disagree that being positive is something that's toxic or negative. But I do think that we need to address what is going on, right?
Yeah.
Address what is going on and then focus on the positives and focus on how you can make it better, right? Don't dwell on like, oh, society is a shit show, so I'm just going to be a shit show myself.
No.
And there's nothing I can do about it, right? Like, that's not what you're doing. You're like calling it out and being real and saying, this is what's going on right now. Like, you're right. Our whole society is really like a death cult is really what it is. Our food system is full of toxins, is full of pesticides, herbicides, chemical additives, preservatives.
100 years ago, there was no such thing as organic food. It was just real food.
Yep. Exactly.
Honestly.
Yep. And it's, they've literally mind controlled the society to believe that nature is dangerous. And now you have to and that humans are imperfect. We have to have these medicines. We have to have a vaccine to protect ourselves. That's bullshit. God, the higher power, the universe, whatever you want to call it, create us in their image. And we were born perfect. All of us were born perfect. But we started to believe, like, just like there's a placebo effect, there's something called a nocebo effect. And that nocebo effect is when you're told you're going to die, when you're told you are weak, when you're told you are powerless, you start to believe that.
Yeah.
And when you start to believe that, you are weakened. You are like, there's people like there's this talk in this biology of belief book by Dr. Bruce Lipton. And he was talking about the nocebo effect of it. And there was this guy back when they thought like a certain form of throat cancer was 100% fatal. They were wrong about that, and they misdiagnosed this man. And this man was told he had 6 months left to live, and he died. And then afterwards, they did a biopsy. He didn't even have any throat cancer.
It was the fear of it.
It was the belief that he was going to die.
And so it was the manifestation. He manifested it, didn't he?
And that's why changing your thoughts, changing your beliefs, changing your environment is literally can change your life, can change your health. You can heal your body. Like you can literally change your life. And that's why it's so powerful. That's why I love this book. Is that, that's part of the brainwashing. We're told that, oh, it's just the genes. That's the way your life is set up. That's the way your life is set up. You're going to be obese just like your parents. You're going to have depression just like your parents. You're going to have cancer just like your parents. That's bullshit. The reason why you're getting cancer just like your parents is because you learned to act like they did. You usually eat the same foods that they are. You have the same negative beliefs that they had because you learned from them. And you're usually vibrating at the same frequency as your parents, as your family home. So you are literally creating the same kind of life. That's what's being passed down from generation to generation.
And it's at a DNA and cellular level too.
Yep. Exactly. It literally changes your cells and your biology.
Yep.
When you start to change these things, and it's been proven. Like just look up epigenetics.
Yeah.
epigenetics. That's what Dr. Bruce Lipton has actually made. And he, the funny thing is, he tried convincing other biologists about this for years, and they all called him a quack. They didn't believe in it. And there were so much examples of it happening, and people just called it like the placebo effect. They just call that quackery. They just call that like a random like fluke. That's bullshit. That happened for a reason. How come we're not looking into it just like we were talking about? Because they can't make money, they can't control the population off of it. But focusing on the positive again, there is a lot of people waking up. There is a lot of people starting to realize this stuff's going on. And social media and TV and a lot of the technology can be bringing us down our worst path. It's our job as leaders, as humans, as males, as females in their true feminine energy, to go forward and share this message with other people. Just like you and me were able to heal ourselves, and then now we're going out and sharing this message with other people. I really urge everyone and whoever's just listening to this to do the same. The more people that start sharing this information, the easier it's going to be to change society, because I'm very confident that we're all connected on some level,
We
like
are.
a collective consciousness, right? When you walk in, and this is probably through energy, because we all are pretty much made up of energy, so it's some kind of energy transference that we have. But have you heard of the 100th monkey effect? Right? Where there was these monkeys that learned to wash their potatoes, to wash the sand off their sweet potatoes, and it was just one tribe of monkeys. I can't remember where they were located, but they were eating these sweet potatoes, and one monkey started to wash a sweet potato, and then all the rest of the tribe started doing it as well. And once the 100th monkey started doing that, all of a sudden monkeys in totally different parts of the world started washing their sweet potatoes as well. Wow. That can happen with us.
Oh yeah,
with starting to wake up. And I think that is what's happening, is people are starting to wake up, and then it's starting to wake other people up, and it's going to be this compounding effect where soon enough we are going to be changing the vibration and changing our world. I was listening to your Venus twins interview, and they were talking about big things are coming up in March. Big energy shifts, and things like that. And I could totally believe that, because I've been feeling something big has been changing. Like if you look at like the demand for organic food, if you've been looking at the search for this kinds of information, it's been rising drastically. More people are hungry for this information more than ever.
Yeah, because they're remembering.
Exactly. They're starting to remember. They're starting to realize that they're starting to wake up to like the fact that this whole system is it's completely backwards, right? Yep. It's meant to bring out your worst self and to diminish and break down your best selves and make us believe that we are powerless to change these things. Like,
and we're dependent.
With depression, exactly. With depression, we're dependent on the medications. We're dependent on those things. When in all reality, we're not dependent on anything. We have everything we need inside ourselves to change our life right now at this very moment.
We do.
You just have to change your thoughts. You have to start to feel your feelings, start to be aware, start to be your own guardian for your life.
And for fuck's sake, for the people out there, please reach out and ask for help. Like seriously, yeah. I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing people that are limping around, that are in pain. Like it's like I know why you're in pain, and I know why you're limping, and I know why your hips are sore. Can you, for fuck's sake, ask for help? Because if you can release that's on your hip, you'll be so much better and healthier for it. I know it's a patience thing, and then they're all on their own journey. But there are people out there that literally will not ask for help.
Yeah. I was one of those people for a while, because I thought there's something wrong with me, right?
Yeah.
Like it's embarrassing to ask for help.
It's not. It's actually courageous, and it's powerful, and it's inspiring. It's like you reach out to one of us, and we have a conversation. Like not only am I able to help you heal, but you're helping me heal parts of myself by talking to you. We hold space for each other. That's what human connection is. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. But if you're stuck and you're out there and you're in pain and you're limping around and you're saying, oh, there's nothing I can do about it. Oh, I'm too old for this. I'm too old for that. Well, no, you're fucking not. You know? You're not. age is just a number, and reach out and ask for help.
Yep. Completely true.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, some of the most successful people, I know we talked about this before. Some of the most successful people I know, actually pretty much all of the most successful people I know have had a mentor, have had someone they've reached out to help with, right?
Mm.
Like asking out for help, it's
It's
so
okay.
powerful. It
It's
can
okay.
literally boost you forward in life like a whole bunch. Like why go through the struggle? Why go through like all the struggle of finding out what to do when you can learn it from someone else who's been through the same
Yeah.
exact thing and literally like you're wasting money. The way I like to think about it, oh, it's $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 to work with someone, right? But if you don't spend that money now and you just stay down the same path you're going down, how
You'll
much
spend
money
it
are you
on
going to be
something
wasting?
else. Exactly. You'll
Yeah,
spend it on something else.
you spend easily that much money on alcohol within a couple months.
Yeah.
You'll spend that money easily on like missed job opportunities. It's probably
OnlyFans
more in the
subscriptions.
thousands, 10,000s, 20,000, 75,000, and it keeps compounding. That's the
Yep.
thing about self-sabotage, right?
Yep.
Like when I was talking about like my marijuana stuff, when I wasn't addressing it, it was getting worse,
Mm.
right? I just kept ignoring it. It doesn't go away. Your self-sabotaging behaviors usually get worse. Like I
Mm.
started to smoke more. I started to drink more. I started to
Yep.
rely more heavily on things. So yeah, asking for help, I love it. It is super important.
That's the
And
thing. I would spend
yeah,
$200 or $300 a weekend on alcohol, right?
yeah,
So I stopped drinking alcohol. I have $200 or $300 a weekend to save. So I was saving it. So then I hear Jason's work and he opens a coaching school. It's like, well, I'm doing that to build my best life and to heal myself, to help heal myself, to then help heal others. So you quit your self-abusing habits and you bring in habits that are healthy and that are going to to propel you forward. Well, then you do have the money for the organic food, for self-help, for buying the books that are in the background there. Like you have the money to do these things, but because of your Netflix subscriptions, your OnlyFans subscriptions, your porn subscriptions, your TV subscriptions, your whatever subscription you're paying money for that's not, is keeping you stuck in your stuckness, you can remove that and you'll find that you'll have $400 or $500 extra a week to go and help yourself and to buy organic food. Like people, I did the post last night and it activated some people that were in the truth community. Well, I said it's as simple as this. They're poisoning you through the food and you're poisoning yourself with coffee, with alcohol, with smoking, with vaping, with all of these things. Well, if you remove those things and eat organic food, the system isn't inside of you. The best way to fight the system is to not have that system inside of you. So the system is the alcohol, is the porn, it is the toxic thoughts, it's the Netflix, it's the OnlyFans, it's all of it. If you remove that, then you're fighting the system. So that's a
yeah.
message out there to all those people that I activated last night when I put that meme up, and they know exactly who they are, and I'm calling them all out.
I love it.
If the
Yeah,
system is inside of you, then how in the fuck are you fighting the system if you're drinking alcohol every single night and you're this truth teller, freedom fighter seeker? Well, no, you're fucking not, because you've got the system still inside of you.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to put that out there.
No, you're all good. Yeah. I mean, and I completely agree. It comes down to saying no to those things, right? Like,
Yep.
it makes me think of that scene from The Matrix, where Neo is just like, I can say no. And at one point, he just says no and he stops all the bullets coming at him. What are those bullets that are coming at us? It's alcohol, it's coffee, it's the toxic food that we have in our lives, it's the shitty TV shows, right?
Porn,
Those are all
OnlyFans.
bullets coming at
Yeah.
us. Yeah, it's the OnlyFans, it's the dating apps, it's the TikTok.
Yeah.
It's all those things compounding, coming at us at once. And if we say no, they have no power over us.
Mm.
We get that system out of us, and then the system has no more control over us. And
Exactly.
literally, we can be like Neo and break that system, and it doesn't have the power over us.
Then it naturally breaks. Like it's breaking down
Yep.
now. But if if more people said no to this stuff, well, then the power of no ends this system tomorrow. That's how powerful we are.
Yep. I mean, every time you're spending your money, putting your energy towards something, you're literally voting for the kind of world that you want.
Yeah. And
right?
if you're spending your money on the TV subscriptions and you're saying that you can't afford organic food, well, if you're spending $100 a month on TV subscriptions, well, if you just cancel them, you have $100 a month to afford organic food. It's not rocket surgery. It really isn't.
Yep. I love it. I mean, yeah, I mean, anything like that, right? Coffee, alcohol. How much
All of
money
it.
are you spending every week on
Yeah.
coffee? Like the people who drink coffee, $7 a day, $6 a day on their coffee.
Well, that adds up over a week, doesn't it? It's like 30 or 40
Yeah.
bucks a week. Over a month, it's more than 100.
And then the alcohol on the weekends, like you said,
Yep.
a lot of people drop like $200, $300 every weekend.
Well, I
alcohol.
definitely was doing that.
Especially if you go out to the bars, right? You're spending tons of money on that kind of stuff.
And
Or
with Joe,
even
with Joe Biden's inflation right now, well, fuck, going out and drinking
Oh.
is a very expensive habit now. So, yeah, once you replace that habit with something good and something decent, then Joe Biden's inflation doesn't exist because there is no such thing as inflation. Honestly, I call it Joe Biden's inflation because I just do. I don't know why I just came out.
I mean, you're not wrong. It definitely. I mean, it was before Joe Biden, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
it's the way the system's set up right now. Is a setup to drain the money out of the people, which is what's money? It's energy.
Well, it's actually
the way
sex
the whole
energy.
system's set up.
It's actually sex energy. Yeah.
They're draining your sex energy. They're draining your mental energy. They're draining your health energy. They're draining all your energy in all the areas of life. And they're taking it for themselves.
Yeah.
They're creating a environment where we have weak, undisciplined, just like dependent people, right? And you can't farm people who are strong, independent, and who think for themselves.
No,
it's much easier to
farm
take
the
control.
weekend.
And yeah, exactly. They want you weakened. They want you, because really think about it. Like, a government is not really needed if you have people who are aware, who are loving, who take care of themselves and can provide for themselves.
Yes.
At the end of the day, we almost don't even need a government.
No, because there are natural laws of the universe.
Yep.
There's natural laws of the universe. Mark Passio talks about them. He's one to have a look at. He talks about that there's it's the karmic cycles and all that sort of stuff too. It's what are the words he uses? I think it's morality and immorality or something like that. And it's like, well, if you're governed by natural law, then you're not going to go and hurt another being. Mm-hmm. Like if we self-govern and we govern our own lives and we self-govern, well, we're not reliant on that government to be like, okay, well, they're going to raise the interest rates today. We're not going to give a shit about that because you're taking control of your own life and your own money. But you don't even have a mortgage or any of these things that put you in debt that you're paying off for the rest of your life being a slave. Yeah. That slavery system doesn't exist if we're all self-governing our own lives.
We agree. We got to take our power back.
Yeah, we do.
It starts with just being conscious of what you're doing. Don't put that crap in your body anymore. As Nathan says, if you put the system in you, you're contributing to that system. You're going to be part of that system still.
Yeah, you're keeping the system going by doing that. You're keeping it going. You're keeping those cabal companies in business by buying their shit stuff that is making you feel even worse. Like there are plenty of local organic farmers out there. Go and buy some local organic food and feel better.
Yep. And when we tie it back to frequency, right? What are all these things doing? They're all lowering our frequency. Yep. They're all lowering our energy vibrations. Right? Yep. Alcohol, coffee, all these things, they're lowering our vibration.
Yep.
If you want to be your most powerful self, your most loving self, your best self and really create the best world for yourself, for your, your kids, if you're going to have kids, for your future generations, then you need to start to address these things, and you need to be serious. Like, what are you doing to yourself? Really think about this society, right? I think most people, like, it's pretty common knowledge now that politics is completely corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start to talk about the medical system and the food, people just have a disconnect. But how can a government be corrupt and then the medical system and everything else not be corrupt, right?
Exactly.
It's all connected, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
you look at the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, you look at the CDC, those things are just parts of the government. Those are government entities. Like, they don't care about our health. Look at all the different products that are on the market. And I went over this in my 14 reasons not to trust the science. Look at all those different products on the market that literally do nothing but keep us our worst selves, that have been proven to harm our bodies, like Roundup or glyphosate, as you call it, right? You guys call it down there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Glyphosate, like, that's been proven to cause cancer, to literally disrupt your body, and to, like, it's a poison, but yet it's still being sold on the markets. There's been thousands, like, there's been so much money through lawsuits and everything for it. It's still being sold.
Yeah.
Teflon pans,
Yep.
the non-stick pans, those are still being sold, even though they've been proven to literally cause so much dysfunction in people's bodies.
The fluoride
right?
in the water.
Fluoride in the water. And when I was in Colorado, they didn't put fluoride in the water, but I'm sure there was a whole bunch of other crap. When I
Heavy
moved out
metals.
here, they're putting fluoride in the water. There's no need to put that crap in the water.
They're
Fluoride
putting it in the water
toothpaste.
because it decalcifies our pineal gland.
Yeah.
Fluoride is the number one toxin that decalcifies the pineal gland, and they fucking know it, and that's why it's full of fluoride. If our pineal glands are open and we can imagine and we can have those imaginative thoughts like we used to as children, there's your power too.
Yep.
And they were using fluoride in World War II. I shared a video about it only the other week. They were using it in World War II, for fuck's sake, people. It's in the history books, for God's sake. And it's still a conspiracy theory. Well, no, it's fucking not. Fluoride causes most of the problems that are in society today because people don't have their pineal glands open.
If fluoride's been proven to lower IQ,
Yep.
to cause cancer, to, I mean, do all kinds of things, right? Like, at the end of the day, look at like any prescription medicine too.
Yeah.
Right.
Ritalin.
Some of them may be needed in very certain circumstances, but the majority of them are just complete crap. Yep. And I'm a big believer that at the end of the day, really all we need to heal ourselves is nature
and organic
and
real
our
whole
beliefs.
food. Yeah. And organic real whole food.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the reason why people's bodies are in this state in the first place, where they're getting sick, where they're getting diseased, is one, they have very negative, toxic thoughts, and two, they're just poisoning their bodies in all forms and shapes. They're throwing the alcohol, the coffee, they're throwing the toxic food on themselves. They're using products that are full of toxins. They're putting a toxic hand sanitizer. They're disrupting their hormones. Like, our bodies are so amazing. The fact that people are alive right now just blows my mind. With, like, when you think about how much people are poisoning themselves, like, it's really, like, amazing. And but when you start to realize that when people's bodies are overloaded with toxins and their kidneys and their livers aren't able to deal with those toxins, you know what your body does to keep you safe? It stores that in fat cells. You think there's a reason why people are so obese nowadays? Right? It's not just the way your genes are. It's because we're being poisoned into the Stone Age.
Yep.
We're being poisoned so hardcore that people's bodies are literally trying to protect themselves. And that's what is happening. They create fat cells to store those toxins in, because that's the best way to protect your body if you can't get rid of it, is to store it in fat cells. That fat cell is like a protective, like, layer to protect your body from getting it released. That's why when people go through detoxes, I know I've talked about this on your podcast before, people go through detoxes and they detox too quick, they get really sick because those toxins are getting released out of their fat cells. It's flooding their body at once. Like, I know I went through a detox recently, actually. And I confirmed through muscle testing I was actually detoxing some some vaccine ingredients. I was detoxing mercury, thimerosal. I was detoxing aluminum. I was detoxing formaldehyde. I was detoxing um, glyphosate Roundup. And I was literally like what people, and most people probably would have thought they were just getting sick, right? But I knew I hadn't been sick for 4 years. And when I went through this detox, I started to get the night sweats. My whole body, I had a whole body aches. I would literally woke up in the middle of the night and my body was covered in sweat. And I knew it was detoxing because I did some muscle testing to figure it out. And I was intentionally working through detoxing my body. But and the reason why we do it, like a lot of people I've talked to about this are like, so if they're poisoning us from all levels, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna be poisoned anyways. Well, the point is like, yeah, they may be spraying shit in the sky. They may be spraying, the chemtrails and stuff like that. They may be putting things in the water, but you may not be able to protect yourself from every single piece, but you're gonna do as much as possible, and then your body can take care of the rest.
Exactly.
Because the reason that you're alive right now just goes to prove that your body is amazing. And if you are able to start to remove those toxins from your body has a natural process to remove those toxins itself.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it does. Like you provide the right nutrients, the right foods, the right energy for your body, and your body does its work. And you provide the right thoughts too, because we know how important those beliefs are.
Yeah.
You can literally change your life and you can change your health.
You're
not stuck obese. You're not stuck going to be getting cancer because your parents had cancer.
Everything's curable.
To change everything. If you change everything, if you start to provide your body something better and stop poisoning yourself, and it really comes down to doing the research and start to realize, hey, what am I putting in my body? What's in this ingredients list, right? When I talk to people about reading ingredients list, like their eyes glaze over and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, why would I read an ingredients list?
Cognitive dissonance.
So you know what you're putting in your body. Like you're literally poisoning yourself right now. Most people don't realize that fact, that they think, oh, the government's there to save me. The government's there to keep me safe, to keep me healthy. But at the end of the day, it's not.
There's no one coming to save you. You save yourself, people.
You got to save yourself.
If there was someone coming to save us, we'd all be saved and we'd all be singing Kumbaya around the campfire. That ain't happening, people. No one's coming to save you. But there is a savior, and the savior is inside, and it's right here. That's your savior. Listen to it, and it will save you.
Yep. I mean, for all those religious people who are like, no, God is the true savior. Well, who did God create? If you're thinking that way, who did God create? He created each and every one of us.
Correct.
Right? Literally, each and every one of us has a part of God in us.
We are God.
We are all part of God.
Yes, we are.
We are all part of God. He gave us that ability to create.
Yep.
You think he created us in a way that we are dependent on medications and prescriptions and vaccines, and that we should be putting poison into our
he gave us trees.
Amazing.
Gave us plants and trees.
Exactly. He didn't give us chemicals. Man created that.
Correct.
And our bodies were born perfectly. We were born amazing and perfectly designed. We started to become so poisoned to the fact that we are weakened. Now our bodies can't protect us because we are poisoning ourselves on a level. We're not giving ourselves the right nutrients.
Yeah.
So, we can go out and create our best life, or we can be the change that we need, or we can be a victim to life.
What's the saying? Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Starts and ends with you.
Yep. Stop with that victim mentality. Like,
yes.
This is woe is me. I can't do anything to change my life. I'm just gonna get obese. I don't have any ability to change my body. I don't have any way to change my thoughts. Right? Like, don't listen to the people who tell you you're gonna be dead in 6 months. Yeah. Don't listen to people who tell you that this is just normal the way this is. Like, there's nothing normal about the fact that we are the most advanced we've ever been, yet we are the most obese, sick, and diseased we've ever been, right?
Yep.
Like, that's not normal.
Nope.
Any actual society that's getting more advanced should be curing themselves, should be healing themselves, should be living a more harmonious life. But instead, we're destroying the planet. We're destroying ourselves in the process.
Yeah. Well said. We could sit here and talk for another 3 hours, mate, but I think there's a time where we have to start wrapping things up, I reckon.
Yep.
But I love how you expressed your passion and your authenticity just then, mate. It's beautiful. It was a real passionate and a really awesome conversation, mate. Like we both got real passionate there. It was good.
Yeah, you're a little lion. Not a little lion, because I don't want to diminish that. You're a big, magnificent lion. You know, your true king self came out and like let it yourself out into the world, and I love that, and you inspired me.
Been doing that a bit lately. I told people to get the fuck healthy a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah, I remember watching that video where you were sitting by the creek, right?
Yeah.
With your shirt off.
Yep,
I remember that. Yeah, that was powerful.
Yep. It's just slowly starting to creep out. Like, yeah, it's just some passion there. It's good. And yours is coming out too, mate. It's awesome.
Yep. And that's really what we need, right? We need more people who are passionate.
Yep.
We need more people standing up. So if there is any truthers listening to this, get the system out of you, like Nathan talked about. You can't fight the system. The system's inside of you. Yep. Then, start to heal yourself and share with other people. You don't have to be perfect either, right?
No.
Like, even if you are still dealing with self-sabotage, even if you are still working on getting the system out of you, you can still help other people get to the point. If I'm
not perfect
all you need
either.
To do is know more than they. Exactly.
I don't want to be perfect.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because if as Robin said the other day about being perfect, he said he doesn't want to be perfect. Mm-hmm. He just wants to be himself. Yep. And I'm like, I don't want to be perfect either. I just want to be me.
I love it.
Yep. I love that message that he said the other day. That was awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's really just about progression, right? It's just about continuing to be your best self, and to love yourself and to love life.
Yep.
And just goes back to the point where we're love beings, right? We want to let that love energy out. So, get out there, speak your truth, ask for help if you need help. Like, stop doing yourself a disservice and just sitting in your own self-sabotage.
Yep.
Ask for help. Get out there and be yourself, a best self. Don't be afraid to show yourself to the world.
That's it.
It's about time you guys came out and showed your true self.
Yeah. Start speaking up too. The more people that start speaking up, the more like the system's going to implode soon, and we can speed it up by just speaking out,
We all have a platform with social media, so there's no excuse.
Exactly.
And you don't have to be amazing with public speaking either, right? Like,
no, I was.
You and me, we're both not public speakers,
mate. I was a stuttering mess. At uni, then I used to dread speaking out in front of people, doing a presentation, because I was that partner that wasn't doing the work. So when I got up there, I didn't really know what I was saying or doing. I just let the other, I was that sort of person that didn't really do any of the work. I just got up there and spoke.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and
same thing here.
Yep, and you start expressing yourself, and you start being true to yourself. Then that inner line, that inner person comes out, and you'll be able to start speaking out in front of people. It's just a fear. It's just a fear there. That's all it is.
Also, what I've noticed is if you're not letting yourself be authentic, that's when public speaking becomes harder, because you're literally trying to regulate yourself, and that's what's causing problems, right?
Yeah.
Your true thoughts are not coming out, and so you're holding yourself back from being who you are.
Yeah.
So let yourself be who you are, love yourself, and it starts with all things you do.
That's
right?
It.
Be your own loving parent, as Robin had said in that past podcast, right? Like, be there for yourself. Be that person for yourself who your inner child needed.
That's it. I could leave it there, I reckon. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks for coming on today, Tanner.
Of course.
You and I just make magic happen when we speak. It's awesome. So, to anyone out there, reach out to ask for help. Start your journey, and let's leave this planet a better place than when we found it.
Yep. Totally agree. And make sure you guys like, subscribe, give us a comment. We'll both be there to answer the comments. We'll both check the videos. So if you guys do have anything, or just reach out to us. We have our links down below in the description. We'll have that link to What we're going to put in the description down below? We're in a book or something?
I'll have to go back and rewatch this now to work out what I actually said.
But yeah, we'll put links down in the description. I'll put the names of these books in the description as well.
Yep.
And yeah, just be your best self every day. Show up and start to live a life that you guys love.
That's it.
Don't live a life that you have to escape
that's
from.
what it was. It was the video of the fluoride, and it was it was something else too. I was going to put in there. What was it? Oh, it will come back.
Yeah.
Righto. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And wherever in the world you are, just reach out and ask for help, and let's kickstart your journey. See you guys real soon.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.